James Harden speaks out on his departure from Philly with some very eye-opening comments, but it doesn't matter anymore because the real Sixers basketball is back. Perfect. What is up, everybody? RB here. Welcome into Philly Take with RB. You know the drill. Drop a like, drop a comment for the algo. Subscribe, ring the bell. Don't miss any of the coverage. We are live every game, every Sixers game during the entire thing, chatting it up right here on YouTube. Be sure to join in. And yesterday during our live stream, as we're celebrating, the Sixers actually gave us back-to-back comfortable wins for once. What is going on? People keep coming in the chat talking about James Harden made this comment. James Harden said this. I watched the press conference, but I wasn't trying to let those toxic vibes into the chat because now we have some time to talk about it. Sixers win. They're 3-1. Off day, not much going until tomorrow when they face the Suns. Should be a good test, but we have to pivot because James Harden said some very interesting things, and I'm going to tell you why this team is 100 times better right now without him. We will get to that, but I have a question for the people. Who is the number one player in your eyes right now through 4 games that has surprised you on the Sixers? Who are you most happy or surprised about on this team under Nick Nurse? Give me your thoughts before we jump into all of it. A shout out to our sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. They are one of the world's largest online therapy services. I know people listening out there right now either know somebody or have even personally gone through mental health issues or experiences. Personally, I've gone through some really tough situations where, I'm not feeling the best, and I wish I had such an easy, accessible outlet, just a few clicks to help me out like BetterHelp. Their mission is to make therapy more affordable, and it makes finding a therapist so much easier because it's online and remote. So all you have to do is get on the computer, answer a couple questions about your therapy needs, and BetterHelp will match you with a professional therapist within a few days. Then you can talk to that therapist via text, chat, phone, video call, message at any time at your convenience whenever you or whoever else needs help. And if your therapist is not the right fit at any time, you can switch to a new therapist without having to stress about the insurance. It is absolutely free. So again, the best thing is always to reach out or encourage somebody to reach out. That's the hardest part. That's step number 1. And if you are struggling, consider online therapy with BetterHelp and get 10% off of your first month by clicking the link down in the description, or just go to betterhelp.com/PhillyTake. Again, always reach out for help. All right, let's talk about the Sixers. Speaking of help, they have a lot of it right now, and it feels like they have a lot more now that this head case is gone. And yes, I am talking about James Harden. Again, I don't have anything personal against James Harden. I thank him for his opportunity here. I thank him for his time. I feel like the Sixers had a couple really good opportunities and chances to go win and get past the second round. Ultimately, it just did not happen. But James Harden, on the other hand, has some other thoughts. He goes out yesterday and he's talking to the Clippers media for the first time. By the way, I watched the game the other night, third and fourth quarter. PJ Tucker's in there, and I think he had 0 points in 21 minutes, was it, in his debut? So PJ, same old, and James Harden getting ready to make his debut soon. But they asked him about the situation, of course, as they should. And here is what he said about the Sixers. Quote, they had him on a leash last season. I'm not a system player. I am a system. What do we think about that? Now, I know what people are going to say. It's the same thing they said to me on Twitter yesterday. Go watch the full interview. Go watch the full clip. I watched enough of it. I saw what he said. Now, again, they followed up on this. They said, what do you mean by that? You were on a leash. And he tried to backtrack it a little bit and said, I don't mean I need 30 shots a game, but, me and Joel scoring and facilitating, and I should be able to go out there and pick apart the defense and make the adjustments with the coach and talk to them, blah, 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 blah. James Harden in this saying right here, and the whole vibe, the whole tone I got from watching that press conference is selfish, okay? I'm going to call it how it is. I'm not here to just say, one player this, one player that. No, I'm here to just speak how I feel. And James Harden sounded very, very selfish in that opening presser. If it was Joel who said the same thing, I would also say he sounded selfish. Whoever said this, it sounds selfish when you use this terminology, when you talk the way that you did. And I'm here to tell you, James Harden is in for a reality check with LA if he thinks he's going in there to be the number one option. He's not going to be the number one. He's not going to be the number two. He is going to be the number three option. And don't forget, they have Russell Westbrook in the mix as well. It is going to get very interesting. And, I'm just glad this is over with. Shout out to Kevin O'Connor, who responded to this tweet. And he says, James Harden ranked second in the NBA in time possessing the ball per game, behind only Luka last season. I guess if you're not first, you're last. Do you know that James Harden and Joel Embiid ran one of the most effective pick and rolls in the league last year? He had one of the highest usage rates in pick and roll last year when on the floor. So for him to come out here and say this, one, is a lie. Number two, it's just like, why? Why do you have to do this, right? Joel Embiid, on the other hand, last night comes out and he actually gave Harden some credit. He wished him well, said he hopes he does well in LA. But Joel also retaliated and said the same thing we're saying. Quote, I just feel like we allowed him to be himself. We gave him the ball every single possession because he's really good. He's an amazing player. I will agree with James that Doc did try to switch his role, make him a facilitator, but what did he do? He went out and led the league in assists. He was great at that role, at sacrificing, but James Harden has the ego. He still thinks that he's going to put up 40 points a game when you're just not that guy anymore. Your health has limited you. And also just, the type of role and, the consistency has not been there. There were a lot of times last year where James Harden was given the opportunity to go out there and play well, and he just couldn't do it. His body didn't hold up. He couldn't have that burst on driving to the rack. And that's just the truth of it, man. How about game 3 of the Celtics series when I'm there in person and what? You went 3 for 16? Where was the system that night, right? You had the chance. You had the opportunity. How about game 6 when you went 4 for 16? Game 7 when the entire damn team disappeared. Nobody took accountability, and that is the word here, accountability. James Harden still has no accountability, and I'm just tired of these guys who have been on the Sixers that do not show any accountability. It's crazy, man. Like, why couldn't you have just gone out there yesterday and said, I wish them well, I wish myself well? No, it's they. I wanted to retire as a Sixer. They didn't want me. They didn't do this. My follow-up question in the interview would have been, okay, why did nobody else, James, want to give you that 4-year contract? Why do you think that happened? I mean, if you're such a system and they should run through you and you're this guy, why didn't any other team want to give you that contract? There's your answer. There's your answer, because you're just not that guy anymore. You could still be an effective player. And honestly, like I said before, your best opportunity was still here with Philadelphia. But wish him well, I guess. We'll see how it goes. On the other hand, the Sixers are much, much better off right now without James Harden, and it's because of the style they're playing. And I'm not going to sit up here and say they've played the best teams. People are like, oh, they only played the Raptors and they played the Blazers. Okay, fine. It's not who they're playing. It's how they're playing. And I've said a lot of things last night on the stream. Just watch this possession. Look at the switchable defense. Look at how these guys are moving around the floor. They are playing as a unit, as a team. Give me that turnover. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. Here is the number one play. This is my favorite play from last night. This is my favorite play that I've seen in the last 5 years from the Sixers. Shout out to Daniel here putting this on Twitter. Look at the way they defended this possession. This was the statement play of the game. Raptors are moving the ball all around. Look at how they're closing out on shooters. Look at how they're attacking on the perimeter. Look at these closeouts. I mean, this is unbelievable. This is the identity of a Nick Nurse team. And look at this, a couple final closeouts by Springer and Embiid. Embiid's getting out to the ball. It is absolutely beautiful. How many times did the Sixers used to play the Raptors and they were just so infuriating to play? They were annoying. They make you want to pull your hair out. They're pests. They're annoying. Why? Because of coaching. Nick Nurse has implemented this system. The Sixers are playing as one. There's no ego. There is no more of that ego that James Harden showed yesterday on this team in the locker room. Here's the stats yesterday. Joel, 28. Tobias, 23. Oubre, 23. Maxey, 18. That's a system, James. That's a system right there. Not you. That is the system. That's how you play team ball and you win. This Sixers team is crashing the glass. They're playing great defense. They're getting out on the break. The ball movement is so fluid. It is just so fun to watch. And last year, there were games where Joel was magnificent and he would have 47 points and 10 and 8 and 7, but the Sixers would barely squeak out a win against the Orlando Magic on a Wednesday night. The Sixers are taking care of business. And, one thing I said yesterday was it was the first time that the Sixers saw some adversity, right? They come out of halftime. Usually they've been struggling a bit, and then they come out and they have a monster start to the third quarter. This time they were doing really well. They were staying way above, ground level, and they come out in the third quarter, look lethargic. They look like they don't care. Even Nick Nurse said after the game that should never happen. What does he do, though? He's a competent coach. He calls a timeout, gets things acclimated. Pat Bev completely turns the momentum of the game. A steal at half court, goes all the way down, a layup. He's clapping in the dude's face. This team has swagger. They finally have that dog mentality that we want. Again, small sample size, nowhere near a finished product. But in a game yesterday where you didn't even have a lot of the new players yet up to speed, you had Furkan Korkmaz out there feasting off the bench. Like, these guys are just hungry for the opportunity, and the way they are playing basketball is incredible. My guy that I'm most surprised with so far is Tobias. 10 for 17 yesterday. He's moving the ball. He's playing freely in space. I always said about Tobias that if he makes quick decisions, he's going to be a much better player, and he's out here looking like Clippers Tobias right now. He's looking really damn good. Even when Maxey and Embiid didn't play as efficient yesterday, you still won this game handily. It wasn't even close. Kelly Oubre has been a fantastic pickup, one of the best of the offseason, and so far I'd say almost every single player is just playing as a unit. They're all sharing the ball. They're having fun. Even Joel Embiid is averaging, 7 assists per game? That is a system. That is a system. This Sixers team is a lot of fun right now, and I hope they can keep this up. Big test tomorrow against Phoenix, but you know what, man? I said it all off season. Just inherently, this team has the talent and will be better because Nick Nurse is one heck of a coach, and right now feels like he's changed his culture. We're going to have to wait and see what happens going forward, but this is the best start you can ask for, and the formula is there. The formula for success has been very present, so we'll see how it all plays out, but give me all your thoughts down below in the comments section. That being said, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.